Hello, friends. Have you ever actually sat down and thought about this? That you work hard all month, you earn money too, but by the end of the month, why is there nothing left? I mean, the money comes in, you can clearly see it, but within just a few days, it slowly disappears. And the strangest part is, you don't even understand where it went. Have you ever told yourself, this time, I'm definitely going to save money? But then, within a few days, some expense shows up, sometimes in the name of necessity, sometimes in the name of comfort, and sometimes just because it felt right at that moment. And then the same thing happens. By the middle of the month, your entire plan falls apart, and you convince yourself, it's okay, I'll start next month. But if you really pay attention, this next month never actually comes. It just keeps getting pushed further away, and slowly, this becomes a pattern. Earn, spend, back to zero. Now here's the truth. That might make you a little uncomfortable. White right pointing backhand index, the problem is not your income. White right pointing backhand index, the problem is that you don't control your money. Instead, white right pointing backhand index, the truth is, white right pointing backhand index right now, money is controlling you. Yes, not you. Money is deciding where it's going to go. You make plans, but the spending just happens on its own. And slowly, this becomes so normal that you stop questioning it altogether. Now pause for a second and think, if the problem was only low income, then people who earn more would always be rich. But what's the reality? Many people earn lakhs, yet by the end of the month, they have nothing left. And some people, even with lower income, gradually build wealth. So where's the difference? White right pointing backhand index, the difference is in the system, because earning money is a skill, but managing it and growing it, that's a completely different game. And this is the game most people never learn. And that's why, even after working hard for years, nothing truly changes in their life. Now understand one more truth. If you ignore this today, this cycle will continue. You'll keep working, money will keep coming, and it will keep disappearing. And slowly, you'll start to believe, maybe this is just how life is. But that's not the truth. The truth is, you're stuck in a broken system, where you're working for money, and money is not working for you. And until this changes, nothing will change, because the real game is not about income. It's about control. And the day you understand this control, that's the day things start to change. Fire. And this is exactly where most people make a huge mistake. They think, if my income increases, everything will be fine. But the truth is a complete opposite. Income increases, and along with it, expenses increase too. Earlier, you were managing with 20,000, then it became 50,000. Your lifestyle changed. A slightly better phone, better food, more outings, and before you know it, your expenses grew at the same speed. And in the end, what happened? Back to zero again. Only the amount changed. The result stayed the same. And this is where people fail to understand. The problem is not in owning. The problem is in the spending system. Now think carefully. Have you ever felt that as your income increased, your savings didn't, but instead, your stress increased? Because now expectations are higher, your lifestyle is bigger, and the pressure has increased too. And this is the trap most people never realize. They think, I'm earning more, so I'm growing. But internally, their system remains the same. Earn, spend, back to zero. And slowly, this cycle becomes so normal that a person starts accepting it as life. Now understand one more important thing. Money follows a simple rule. White right pointing backhand index, if you don't control it, white right pointing backhand index, it will find its own way to leave. Sometimes in the name of need, sometimes in the name of comfort, and sometimes just out of habit. And all these small things, together, weaken your entire financial system. And the most dangerous part, you feel like everything is normal. You think everyone is doing the same. And this mindset keeps you stuck in the same place. Now ask yourself one question. If increasing income isn't changing anything, and expenses keep rising automatically, then what is it that can actually break this cycle? Why do some people move forward even with low income, while others stay stuck even with high income? Why do some people build wealth, while others just keep earning? And this is where one thing starts becoming clear. White right pointing backhand index, the difference is not in how much money is coming in. White right pointing backhand index, the difference is in how you handle it. And until you understand this, nothing is going to change. Because if the system stays the same, the result will stay the same. And if you don't change this system, then even in the coming years, you'll just keep working. Money will come, and it will go, without building anything. And this is the point where things begin to change. Because now it's not just about owning. Now it's about control. And this control begins with one very simple but powerful rule. And this is where, for the first time, things truly begin to change. Because by now, you've understood that the problem is not income. The problem is control. So now the question is, what is that first step that brings money under your control? And this is where a very simple but life-changing rule comes in. White right pointing backhand index, whatever you earn, keep a portion of it for yourself first. It sounds very small, but this is the rule that changes the entire game. Because what were you doing until now? Money comes in, and spending starts immediately. First bills, then Emmys, then other needs, and in the end, if anything is left, then savings. But the truth is, if anything is left, that moment never really comes. And this is where this rule changes the entire direction. White right pointing backhand index, pay yourself first, then pay the rest of the world. Meaning, the moment money comes in, separate a portion of it first, no matter how small it is. Now people say, if money is low, how can we save? But this mindset never lets them move forward, because it's not about the amount, it's about the habit. If you can't save 1,000 out of 10,000, you won't be able to save 10,000 out of 100,000 either. And that's the biggest truth. Now understand this with a simple example. There are two people, both earn the same amount. The first person spends everything as soon as the money comes in. The second person sets aside a small portion first. In the beginning, the difference looks small, but over time, this small difference turns into a huge gap because the first person is just surviving and the second person is slowly building a system. And remember, white right pointing backhand index, money stays with a person. White right pointing backhand index who knows how to hold on to it. If you send it out the moment it comes in, why would it stay? And this is the moment where control begins. Because now you're not in flow, you're in decision. Now money is not deciding on its own. You are deciding. And this shift slowly transforms your entire financial life. But there's another mistake here. People hear this rule, but they don't follow it. They think, my situation isn't right now. Let me earn a little more. I'll start later. But the truth is, if you can't start today, you won't start tomorrow either. Because the problem is not outside. The problem is inside. And the moment you build this habit, no matter how small, you begin to walk on a different path. A path where money doesn't just come. It starts staying. And when money starts staying, that's when growth becomes possible. And from here, for the first time, white right pointing backhand index, money prepares to start working for you. And this is where a place comes where most people silently lose without even realizing it. That place is the way you spend. Because the truth is, owning money is not difficult. Managing it is. Now think about your day, from morning to night. How many times did you spend without thinking? You saw something online and felt, I have to get this. You went out and thought, this much is fine. You saw a discount and felt, if I don't buy now, I'll miss it. And these small things slowly consume your entire month. But at that moment, everything feels right because every expense feels necessary. And this is where the real mistake happens. White right pointing backhand index, everything that feels necessary. White right pointing backhand index is not actually necessary, but your mind justifies it. It's for work. It's for my mood. Everyone does it. And slowly, you convince yourself. Now understand one simple thing. The difference between a need and a want is very small. So small that most people never recognize it. And this is where their control ends. Because until you are clear about what is truly necessary and what is just a desire, your money will never stay with you. Now notice one more thing. When money comes in, you don't spend it thoughtfully. You make decisions based on the moment. White right pointing backhand index, whatever feels good at that time. White right pointing backhand index, you just do it. And this is the biggest trap. Because money is spent through emotions, not logic. Sometimes in happiness, sometimes in stress, sometimes in boredom, and every time, it feels like a small expense. But these small decisions, together, weaken your entire system. And then, at the end of the month, you wonder, where did the money go? But the truth is, the money didn't disappear. You sent it away yourself, just without noticing. And this is the point, where the difference begins. Because some people pause before every expense. They ask themselves, white right pointing backhand index, is this really necessary? And others just keep flowing. And this difference slowly creates a gap. Because the person who makes every decision consciously builds control over their money, and the one who spends without thinking slowly loses that control. And when control is gone, money is gone too. And then the same cycle. Earn, spend, back to zero. But the moment you start questioning every expense, that's where things begin to change. Because now you're not living in reaction, you're living in decision. And this small shift slowly takes you to a level where money doesn't just come, it starts staying. Fire. And now, this is where that stage begins, where most people stop. Because now it's not just about saving money. This is about growing money. By now, you've understood one thing, that saving money is important. Controlling expenses is important. But now a bigger question comes up. White right pointing backhand index, is just saving money enough to move forward? The truth is, no. Because if money just sits there, it won't grow. And if it doesn't grow, the speed of your hard work will always stay limited. Now imagine this. You save a little money every month, but it just sits in your account. After a few years, yes, the amount will increase, but not as much as it could have. And this is where the difference begins. Some people save money, and some people put it to work. And the ones who put money to work, their money slowly starts working for them. This is a real game. White right pointing backhand index, don't just earn money. White right pointing backhand index, put it to work. Now understand one thing very clearly. Putting money to work does not mean taking risky gambles. It does not mean throwing your money anywhere just to get rich quickly. It means placing your money in such a way that it grows slowly and safely. Now understand a simple thing. If you have money and it's doing nothing, then slowly it's losing its value, because over time, everything becomes more expensive. But if that same money is placed in the right place, then it doesn't just stay, it grows. And this is the difference. White right pointing backhand index, one person saves money. White right pointing backhand index, another person grows money. And after a few years, their lives look completely different. Now here's another important thing. Most people are afraid of investing. Why? Because they've either invested in the wrong place or followed the wrong advice. And after one loss, they stop completely. But the truth is, the problem is not investing. The problem is understanding. If you invest without understanding, risk increases. But if you move with knowledge and patience, then slowly, money starts creating more money. And this is the moment when, for the first time, white right pointing backhand index, you are not the only one working. White right pointing backhand index, your money is working with you. And this is where the game begins to change. Because now your growth doesn't depend only on your effort. Your money is also working for you. But this is also where some mistakes happen that can break this entire system. And if you don't understand them, everything you've built can disappear. Fire. And this is where the most dangerous phase begins. Because now you have money. You've learned to save it. You've started growing it. But this is exactly where most people make a mistake that destroys all their hard work. And that mistake is blind trust. Sometimes on a friend's advice. Sometimes on a relative's suggestion. Sometimes because of a guarantee. And slowly, you hand over your money to someone else's decision. Now think about it. Someone who doesn't even understand how money grows. How can they guide you correctly? But in that moment, we don't think logically. We think emotionally. He said it, so it must be right. Everyone is doing it, so it must be safe. And that's where the game ends. Because money grows with knowledge and gets destroyed with ignorance. Now here comes the second biggest mistake. White right pointing backhand index, a desire to get rich quickly. People think one opportunity and everything will change. And in that mindset, they take decisions that cost them heavily. In the greed for high returns, they take high risks. And then what was supposed to grow slowly gets wiped out in a single moment. And the most painful part? That money is not just an amount. It carries your effort, your time, your hope, and one wrong decision destroys everything. Always remember one thing. White right pointing backhand index, wherever fast money is promised. White right pointing backhand index, the highest risk is hidden there. But still, people fall into that trap. Why? Because greed and fear, these two emotions, take control of decisions. Sometimes in greed, sometimes in fear. And in both cases, you lose clarity. Now understand one very important truth. Making money is a slow process, but losing it is very fast. And if you keep chasing shortcuts, you will keep stepping into risk. And slowly, your confidence will also break. Then you'll start thinking, this is not for me. But that's not the truth. The truth is, you didn't follow the rules. You made decisions based on emotion. And that is the biggest mistake. Because money doesn't grow with emotion. It grows with discipline. And until you build discipline, your results won't change. And this is where smart people separate themselves. They pause before every decision. They think, they understand, and only then move forward. And this approach slowly makes them stronger. But just avoiding mistakes is not enough. Because even if you build money, but don't protect it, it won't stay. And this is where the next level begins. Fire. And now, this is where that stage begins. Where real intelligence shows up. Because earning money is one thing. Growing it is another. But protecting it, that's the real game. Because if there is no protection, everything you've built can disappear at any moment. Many people make mistakes here. They think, now I understand everything. Now it's all safe. And right there, they become a little careless. And money doesn't stay with careless people. Now understand one simple thing. Every decision you make either moves you forward or pulls you backward. There is no in between. And when it comes to money, even the smallest decision has a huge impact. Now here come three things that protect your money. First, making thoughtful decisions. Meaning, before taking any step, pause a little. Think a little. White right pointing backhand index. Is this right? White right pointing backhand index. Do I truly understand this? If the answer isn't clear, then don't take that decision at all. Second, understanding risk. Taking risks is not wrong, but taking risks without understanding is the biggest mistake. Every time, you need to ask yourself, white right pointing backhand index, if this goes wrong, how much can I lose? If the answer feels uncomfortable, that's your signal to stop, because smart people first understand the loss, then think about profit, and that's what protects them. Third, long-term thinking. Most people stay stuck in the short term. I want profit now. I want results fast. But the ones who truly grow think long-term. They understand money builds slowly, and if placed in the right direction, over time, it will definitely multiply. But for that, you need patience, and that's something very few people have. Now understand one very important thing. White right pointing backhand index money stays with a person. White right pointing backhand index who knows how to manage it. If you can't manage it, it will come to you and leave you just like before. But now there's a difference. Now you're aware. Now you don't make decisions blindly. Now at every step, you pause, you think, and these small habits slowly make your system stronger. Because now you're not just earning money, you're managing it too. And when owning plus control plus protection come together, that's when, for the first time, financial stability is created. But stopping here is not right either, because if you stop here, your growth will slow down. And if you want to move forward, you need to increase your earning power too, because the more you earn, the more you can save and grow. And this is the next step that takes you to a whole new level. Fire. And now, this is where that level begins, from where real growth becomes visible, because by now, you've understood that you need to manage money, save it, and grow it. But now a question comes. White right pointing backhand index, if the money coming in is limited, how much can you really grow? The truth is, if income doesn't increase, progress will stay slow. And this is where most people stop. They think, whatever I'm getting is enough. And they settle there. But the ones who move forward understand one thing. White right pointing backhand index income is not fixed. White right pointing backhand index, it can be increased. And the most direct way to do that is to upgrade yourself. Because in today's world, how much you earn is not decided by your job. White right pointing backhand index is decided by your value. The more valuable you become, the more your income increases. But here too, people make mistakes. They want to learn, but they don't apply. They watch videos, they read books, but they don't take action. And without action, nothing changes. Now think about this. If every month you keep improving little by little, learn new skills, increase your value, then after a few years, how much could your earning change? And when income increases and your control is strong, money doesn't just come. It stays and it grows. And this combination is what creates the difference between average people and successful people. Now understand one more important thing. White right pointing backhand index knowledge alone is not enough. You have to take action, because no big change ever happens inside a comfort zone. You'll have to take some risks. Push yourself a little. Feel a little uncomfortable. And this is the point where most people step back. They think, I'll start tomorrow. But that same tomorrow never comes. And the ones who start today are the ones who move ahead, because time doesn't stop for anyone. And if you don't upgrade yourself today, tomorrow the competition will leave you behind. So remember one simple rule. Learn, apply, grow, because the more you improve yourself, the more your earning potential increases. And when income increases and your system is strong, that's when, for the first time, you feel real control, because now you're not just surviving, you're growing. But there's one last thing left, and it's the most powerful of all, because if this is not right, then even after everything, you can fall back to where you started, and that is your mindset. And now, this is where the biggest difference begins, because by now, you've understood a lot. How to manage money, how to save it, how to grow it. But there's one thing that is even more powerful than all of this, and that is the way you think. Because the truth is, money is not created outside. It is first created in your mind. Now understand this carefully. There are two people. Both earn the same. Both have the same opportunities. But after a few years, one moves ahead and the other stays in the same place. Why? The difference is just one thing. Mindset. One person thinks how to spend the money as soon as it comes in. The other thinks how to grow it. And this small difference slowly becomes massive, because your mindset controls every decision you make. Now understand one more thing. Most people think short term. They want instant happiness. They want comfort right now. But the people who move ahead are willing to wait. They understand if they stay in control today, they'll get the reward tomorrow. And that's the difference. One person spends the day to feel good. The other waits and moves forward. Now here's a very important question. When money comes to you, what is your first thought? Spending or growth? That answer decides your direction. Because every time you make a decision, you are building your future. And these small decisions, together, shape your entire life. Now understand one more thing. If your mindset stays the same, then even after earning money, you won't be able to manage it. And then you'll fall back into the same cycle. Earn, spend, back to zero. But the moment your thinking changes, you automatically change. You don't spend without thinking. You make every decision consciously. And slowly, your entire system transforms. Now you're not in flow. You're in control. Now you're not chasing money. Money starts staying with you. And this is the point where an ordinary person slowly becomes financially strong. Because now they don't just have money. They have understanding. And this understanding sets them apart from everyone else. And now, everything is clear. But the real question is, will you apply this understanding in your life, or just listen and forget? Because change doesn't come from listening. Change comes from action. And now, if you've reached this point, pause for a moment and think, what have you just understood? Earning money is not enough. You need to manage it. Managing it is not enough. You need to grow it. Growing it is not enough. You need to protect it. And behind all of this, the most important thing is your mindset. That's the whole game. You saw how one small mistake can destroy a month of hard work, how spending without thinking slowly holds you back, how focusing only on earning doesn't move you forward, and how one simple shift can slowly change your entire life. Now one thing is very clear. If you keep doing what you've always been doing, then the same results will continue. You'll keep working, money will keep coming, and it will keep disappearing. And slowly, years will pass, and you'll feel like, I worked so hard, but built nothing. But that's not the truth. The truth is, you didn't change the system, because the moment the system changes, results start changing. Now imagine this. If from today, you start handling every rupee consciously, think before spending, prioritize saving, put your money to work, then after a few years, where could you be? This is a difference between average people and successful people. Now the decision is in your hands. Will you follow the same old ways or adopt a new system? Because today you have knowledge, and with knowledge comes responsibility. If you apply it, then slowly everything can change. And if you ignore it, nothing will change. And in the end, just remember one thing. Money is never the problem. The problem is how we handle it. And the day you truly understand this, from that day on, you won't just work. Your money will start working for you. And that is real freedom. If you found this understanding valuable, make sure to like this video. And if you want more practical and real insights like this, subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to comment below which step you're going to apply first in your life. Because when you write it down, it becomes even clearer. And remember, small steps create big changes. You just need consistency. And then, slowly, you'll start to feel it yourself. That now, money is under your control.